Now, Walmart has been sounding the alarm at raising prices nationally for basic necessities. Everything must go up because Trump's tariffs will force them to do so.
Walmart says their first quarter profits slipped and they have to raise their prices as a result of the tariffs, threatening their low price model.
The prices are just too on the high side. It's on the high side, especially for middle class, low income earners. It's tough. When you have 2-3 children, groceries.
But it's the reality for consumers across the country.
Now, Trump has been going back and forth for the last few months, telling Walmart, the biggest retailer in the world, to eat the tariffs. And a lot of people feel like Walmart can afford to keep the prices the same, which is why Trump is telling them to keep the prices the same and eat the tariffs. It affects your bottom line to some degree, but you can afford it. Walmart seems to disagree. They spoke about possibly trying to make that happen if things work out, but that's where we left off. Well, Walmart tariff prices seem to be here. So let's run out to the grocery store here and check a few prices, shall we?
When I tell you this is some bullshit, this is some bullshit. This is some bullshit. This is some bullshit. This is some bullshit.
So grocery prices on specific items are definitely a much more expensive. Meat seems to be one of the big ones. Price for chicken, beef, all of these kind of livestock is definitely up. So some people are saying like, hey, Walmart is raising prices on American-made items, not just things coming from other countries. They're price gouging us, the consumer, and they're doing it intentionally and blaming it on the tariffs. Is that really the case, though?
Well. Tariffs are about to take effect August 1st. So, what does that really mean for John Q. American public? Many consumers rely upon imported goods, everyday imported goods for their lives, right? Consumer electronics, clothing, and toys, food staples, beef, coffee, produce, and auto and appliances. Tariffs are going to affect all of those areas. Tariffs from 15 to 40% being applied to over 21 nations. So, 1, food and agricultural products. Brazilian beef. As of August 1st, a proposed tariff of 50% on Brazilian beef, coffee and beans. Brazil dominates U.S. imports. The same 50% tariff will be applied to that, driving up coffee prices. Now, all of you Starbucks drinkers, this applies to you, okay? Consumer electronics and technology. We are a completely technology-driven society, all right? There's going to be a broad 30% to 145% tariff placed on Chinese goods. That includes smartphones, laptops, tablets, circuit boards, components like semiconductors, even some consumer electronics that previously had exemptions will now suffer the plight of tariff. Ooh, this is a big one. Apparel, footwear, toys, and home goods. All right? Clothing and shoes from China and Vietnam together nearly make up 70 through 99% of U.S. imports in these categories. What? 70 to 99% of U.S. imports and vehicles, auto parts, and appliances. They're receiving a 25% tariff on all imported automobiles from China, Germany, and Japan. So I had to do some research, some digging here, right? This means this is effective. It was effective spring of 2025, but now it's going to become effective this August 1st run, right? it is likely to raise prices by several $1,000s per vehicle, even for 50% of US-based buyers. Steel, aluminum, and building materials. Steel and aluminum will suffer tariffs that surge to 50%, including cans, appliances, affecting both the industrial use and packaged goods. What does this mean for us? What is the bottom line of all of this? Okay. The bottom line is these tariffs will most certainly result in higher prices, reduced selection, and potential shortages for U.S. residents across many areas.
Now, maybe that's just Walmart. Maybe that's just that location. Let's run over to Sam's Club. Let's see if we buy in bulk, will we get a better deal? Will these prices seem a little bit more reasonable? Let's run over to Sam's Club. What do we have here?
I'm at Sam's Club. Look at the price of steaks. $15 a pound. And beef ribeye steak, $17 a pound. Oh my goodness. Look at this. Wow. That's some good eats right there. I remember when you get a whole thing. This one right here, that's almost $60, almost $70. Come on, Trump. You're killing us all.
Well, it seems that Sam's Club, even buying in bulk does not appear to help us with the costs. So it comes back to the conclusion that the cost in tariff prices, specifically at Walmart, the big boy, is definitely higher. They haven't announced it's because of the tariffs, but due to their last statements about the tariffs, we have to assume. But what if we buy online, right? You know, they got the ship it to your door delivery with Walmart. What if we buy online? Let's see if we buy online at a location near us. What does that look like? Let's check that out.
So I was placing a Walmart order, and you see here at one Walmart it was $277. Now if I switch it to another Walmart that's nearby, it goes from $277 to, wait for it, to $350. Please explain to me how it goes from $277 to $350 within 10 miles from each other.
So just like this woman was saying, how does the price change? Even online, from one location to the other location. When Walmart, normally all the products was coming from their main distribution center. And that distribution center sends it out to a multiple location. So if they're all getting it in bulk from the same distribution center, why would it change from one location to the other location? Something strange is going on. I don't know if it's because of Trump or is it because of Walmart, but to the consumer, we're still getting higher prices. So on August 1st is when all the tariffs are supposed to take effect in a lot of different industries that affect a lot of things that we use on an everyday basis. So let's try to get a breakdown of the areas that's going to be greatly affected. Brazilian beef, that's going to be a big one. That's a problem. That's probably why we've seen meat prices increase on the last few clips. Okay, and then we got coffee beans. Starbucks, all of these coffee places use a lot of coffee beans. If those prices go up, that's going to impact people real time. We need the caffeine to stay away, to work the endless jobs, to make the extra money, to keep a roof over our head, to deal with these higher prices. We're barely staying afloat, trying to keep things together. We need a caffeine. The coffee is a problem. And a lot of these other areas are problems too. So I don't know, where does this put us with the state of our economy? When this takes effect, this will wreck everybody's budget, whether you're middle class, low middle class, upper middle class. Even some of the rich people don't like spending lots of money on unnecessary things. This is going to be a problem for many Americans.
Kind of stepping back and looking at this from a tariffs point of view, you say that while we're seeing prices on some individual items rise from tariffs, it's not yet affecting the consumer overall, because if there's a tariff, say, on imported bananas, some fruit consumers will decide to buy domestic oranges, say, instead. So you say for that reason, tariffs might not affect consumer prices overall in the short run. What happens in the long run, and perhaps if there's a sudden hiccup in domestic production, something consumers rely on, who's best positioned?
All the discussion about tariffs has really sort of shown a bright light on pricing for consumers. So we just went through a couple of years of really difficult inflation, which brought up price focus, consumer price focus. And now the discussion about tariffs and the media reporting about price increases because of tariffs. So people are very, very focused on pricing right now. And I think that is to the detriment of certain retailers who had a price advantage in the past, and the benefit of others who are discounters. And that's why I think you're seeing some of the dollar stores and discounters responding.
What do you guys make of this? Put your comments below. Let's talk about it. This is Where is the Money? Talk to you soon.